the difference between vowels and consonants. And the reason I put this at the beginning of every workshop is because many of the rules of spelling use the terms vowel and consonant. But unless you have specific linguistic training, you don't have a full conceptual understanding of those. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the science of sound production to figure out the difference. Now, I know there's a lot of people here today. Some of you might already know, okay? You might already know the difference between vowels and consonants. So guess what? Don't tell the others, right? Let them figure it out for themselves, okay? So we're going to do some scientific work on that. But if you've already been trained in it, shh, don't tell them, all right? What we need to start with is the articulatory mechanism. And in your slides for a classroom application, it actually says the machine that makes sounds, not the articulatory mechanism. I'm going to use the, the sort of more scientific terms with you. But when you're doing this with the children that you're working with, it's the machine that makes sounds. And this basically is the machine that makes sounds. This is the all the things that you need to actually make human speech sounds. And it's not much, is it? There's not much there, right? We've got certain elements such as, and even before that, sorry, we have to consider that we're trying to push sound through the air. When you make a sound, it comes out of your lungs and it goes through the air to other people's ears, right? So you've got to change the air. You've got to put particles of sound into the air, right? Sound waves into the air. So your lungs are the first thing that you have to use with that. When you come into your throat here, so it's like a hollow tube. And when you come into your throat here, you've got these tissues that go across your throat, and they're called your vocal cords. Also your larynx, also your voice box, depending on who you're speaking to. So we're going to do a little experiment, okay? What I want you to do is I want you to make this sound. Zzz, and I want you to put your fingers on your throat and feel what your vocal cords are doing. Zzz. Can you feel a vibration in your throat? Go for it. I'm hoping that everyone's saying zzz, but the mic isn't picking that up. But what I would imagine, or what I'm hoping that you feel, is that there is some buzzing right here in your throat with your vocal cords. I'm going to get you to make the exact same sound again, but this time you're going to turn your vocal cords off. So on and off are the two positions for your vocal cords. So wonderful stuff. So now I want you to do the exact same sound again, but this time you turn your vocal cords off. Don't make any sound here. Just say zzz, but with no sound. What sound did you make? Did everyone get it? What sound is it? Hoping that everybody said sss. Brilliant stuff. Absolutely. So this on-off switch, that actually helps to double the amount of sounds, the amount of possible sounds that we can make. Do you see how that works? So even with this small amount of articulators, we've got double them if we switch the vocal cords on and off, right? It's really interesting the way that humans have done this. Okay, so you've got the vocal cords. Coming into the mouth, though, you've got another thing that moves, and that's your tongue, right? It's really difficult to speak without moving your tongue. So I get students to hold their tongues down and try to say their names, right? It's really difficult. Your tongue is constantly moving when you're making speech sounds. The other thing that your tongue is doing, is it's using your teeth to trap and shape air that helps you to articulate those speech sounds. So your teeth and the ridge behind your teeth, if you run your tongue back from your teeth to the roof of your mouth, there's this bumpy ridge there. It's called your alveolar ridge, right? If you move your tongue even further back, it gets nice and smooth. That's called your hard palate. And if you move even further back, you've got a soft, smooth bit, and that's called your soft palate or your velum. And all of these work together to produce all of the speech sounds that you make. The last set of articulators in your mouth are your lips. So we make lots and lots of sound by altering the shape and position of the lips as well. And just with those elements, you can make all of the human speech sounds, not just the ones in English, but all the others as well, which is pretty amazing. So now we're going to use the science of sound production to make a consonant sound. The consonant sound, I'm going to choose one for you because there's way too many of you for me to say, someone give me a consonant sound. So the one that we're going to do is we're going to do B, which is spelled with the letter B, right? So we're going to do B. When you make B, I want you to go back to your articulatory mechanism and tell me what you used. What was it that you used here in your mouth to make B? So the air started in your lungs, moved up through the vocal tract like this into the throat here. With B, did you use your vocal cords? Is your voice off or on? B, what did you feel? And sometimes you can get students to put their hands over their ears and say that sound, B. And if you can still feel it, if you can still feel it echoing around your head, even with your ears shut, what you have is a noisy sound. What you have is your vocal cords on. So, B, hoping that you could feel that your vocal cords were on there, right? That's a noisy sound. Coming into the mouth, though, what did you use? Teeth, lips, tongue. What did you use to articulate B? Hoping you discovered that it was your lips. You did. Well done. Good stuff. Absolutely. Your lips came together and trapped that air momentarily, right? Trapped the air. Try not to put your lips together, right? Keep them apart and then say B again. Right? You can't do it, okay? You can't make that sound unless your lips come together. So what your lips were doing there is it's stopping the air from coming out and then releasing it. And that made that sound, right? Very good. So now I've got some questions for you. When you made that consonant sound, did anything get in the way? Did you have to put something in the way of that flow of air? And the answer, of course, is yes, your lips did. You can't not do that sound you can't do that sound without your lips. Also, there are some consonants where it's not so much getting in the way, but friction. Like, so if you make the sound zzz that we did before, your teeth are getting in the way, but what you're doing is you're creating this hissing, like, and zzz and s and so on, right? So if the answer to either of those questions is yes, then what you have is a consonant. And something got in the way when you're creating friction like that. That's a consonant. That is the linguistic definition of the consonant. So to further elaborate, there's a teacher definition here. So for you guys, a consonant can be defined as a sound made with some obstruction in the articulatory mechanism. The way you say that to students after you've done this experiment is a consonant is made when something gets in the way of the air coming out of the mouth. That's what a consonant is, right? It's harder to make a consonant. You're engaging more of your articulators. So going back to that mechanism again, we're going to make a vowel sound this time, and I want you to think about how you made that sound. The most popular vowel sound that I get when I'm working with smaller groups is E, right? When you say E, this time your air starts in the lungs as usual, comes up through the hollow tube. When you say E, do you pick up a sound at the vocal cords? E. Is that a noisy sound? You can cover your ears and say it and see if you can still hear it. E. E. Yep, that's a noisy sound. I'll let you into a secret about vowels. All vowels are noisy. Yep, every single one of them. Here are the major vowel sounds in spelling, right? A, e, o, a, right? So that's A, E, I, O, U, A, E, O, A. Now I'm going to say them with my voice off. Are you ready? Did you get that? Did you hear it? You want to hear it again? Here it goes. Right? All vowels are noisy. That's one of the things about them. Okay, your voice is on for every vowel. When you said E this time, I'll ask you the qualifying questions about E. When you made that vowel sound, did anything get in the way? E. Was there some friction? E. Wasn't making any friction, nothing got in the way. My mouth wasn't wide open, yeah, but there was nothing stopping the air from coming out momentarily. If the answer to either of those questions is no, then what you have is a vowel. That's the difference. So your definition, a vowel is a sound made with an open vocal tract, right? So that tube that goes from the lungs to the lips, that's open with a vowel. Nothing's getting in the way. I like to say to students, a vowel is produced like a song note. Nothing gets in the way. So if I were to sing the scales, and yeah, I'm going to sing now, right? So, I apologize in advance. But if you were to sing do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, I'm going to stop sharing. If you were going to sing do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and you separated the vowels and the consonants from the notes on that scale, right? I'll sing it first with no consonants. You ready? So I'll take away the consonants. Here we go. O, A, E, A, E, O. Right? Now I'm going to take away the vowels. Ready? Right? Do you see the difference? Right? Do you see how the open vocal tract hardly altered that scale at all, but as soon as I closed my vocal tract and only did consonants? Nonsensical, right? So anyway, that's the difference. Now, why do we care? Why do we even care? What's the point of knowing any of this? Well, I'll show you. We're going to take someone's name, and what I want is a big 3 or 4 syllable name. Let me see. Carol, that's too small. Who else do we have? Who's going to give me? Somebody give me a really big, nice, long name. Madeline? Is that what I heard? Oh, Barbara. I really like Barbara, right? As a person, but also, yes, the name, right? So we've got Barbara. Now, we live in a world without vowels. Live in a world without vowels. So, and I like doing this with students. When we start talking about this, it's really good to get students to come up and actually erase the vowels from their names, okay? So, taking away the vowels in Barbara's name, and actually we can take the AR because that bit says ah, which is a vowel, right? The A and the R together says ah. So actually we're going to be doing that. When you take away the vowel sounds in Barbara's name, what's her name? Oh, actually, there is an R there. We do say, we make a consonant sound. What's her name? Right? That's her name. Yeah. Okay. So, a world without vowels. Imagine. Yeah. And she is in her garden doing some gardening, very, very far away from the front door. And the doorbell goes, and it's Santa, right? And Santa has got this great big sack filled with all sorts of things that Barbara really likes, so bottles of Dom Perignon champagne, Labrador puppies. I'm just guessing here. I'm just riffing, Barbara. Diamonds, just amazing thing. 5-star hotel, presidential suite, weekends, all that sort of stuff. And he says to the person who answers the door, if you can get here to the door in the next 10 seconds, I'll give her this entire sack full of these goodies. But if you can't, what I'm going to do is I'll just give this sack to the next door neighbor. So what we're going to do now is we're going to shout for right? We're going to try and get her to the door because she's a bit far away. So on the count of 3, and there's over 100 of you in the room, right? On the count of 3, we're going to shout as loud as we can, right? Okay? So here we go. 1, 2, 3. What do you reckon? Is she going to get the presents? Is she going to get the present? Even with 100 people shouting it? Is she going to get that? She's not, right? Because your vocal tract was closed. There was very little sound coming out. If we wanted to shout for her, we would have to put those vowels back in. Barbara! Right? You see when you're shouting for someone, or shouting anything, it's at the vowels that your vocal tract is open. Why do we even care about that? Well, because what children have to know when they're trying to spell things, and what we need to teach them, is that vowels carry the sounds in words. They're the peaks of the sounds in words. There has to be a vowel sound in every word, and not just in every word, right? In every syllable, in every beat, in every word, we've got to have that vocal tract open so that we can hear what people are saying, right? So therefore, if you're spelling a word, it's a really good idea when you move into the multi-syllable level. It's a really good idea to check that you have represented a vowel sound in every syllable of every word. And if you didn't, if you missed the vowel, and this is one of the fundamental spelling mistakes that I see over and over again with the children that I'm working with, if you've missed a vowel, you haven't spelt it right. Figuring out which vowel it is, though, is where the science comes in. It's like following a mathematical formula using probability and pattern observation. Here's the dirty little secret of spelling, right? When you're teaching people to improve their spelling, the absolute best that you can do is that you can make them statistically correct. You cannot overnight or even over time turn them into completely accurate spellers forever, right? What you can do, though, is that you can increase their chances of being correct. And you do that by getting them aware of the probability and the likelihood of how something is spelled. And that takes systematic instruction.